All right. So, Chris Passaro, the
are.
man, the myth, and the legend. So, for those that don't know Chris is a real estate agent and newly CEO or COO. COO
Yes.
of Cowden Creek Realty. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that.
Appreciate it.
How does that feel? How's the crown?
There's
Have you noticed any difference yet? The people
it's a lot more responsibility.
Right.
I think that before I got to Cowden, they had their great culture, everything. They were small. It was 70 agents or whatever. And I think Mike decided that if he wants to build it to 10, 15, 20 offices with thousands of agents, it's going to take more than him just
a wider foundation. Yeah.
So, he started to put some stuff in place and,
nice.
I've learned a ton from him. I know Joey has as well.
Joey Booker. That's one guy I gotta get him on here.
Oh, he'll definitely come on.
For sure.
His media presence. He might not give you a loan, but he'll come bullshit for sure.
Yeah. No, he's pretty cool. The time I got to spend with him.
Yeah,
so.
He's a good dude.
It seems like your team, it's very close, and especially for that many agents, and especially new agents too. When I see them on, everybody kind of falls into a groove there, which you don't see in a lot of other real estate companies. So that's one thing I personally like about Cowden is that everybody is kind of like on the same vibe as far as taking over, as far as being the best they can be, the trainings. So yeah, I love being there.
It's a good feeling, and our biggest thing is regardless of how big we scale things and how many agents we bring in and offices we open, just to keep it that family feel.
Yeah.
And to everybody feel comfortable, everyone fit in, everybody feel like, that they can. I think a lot of real estate companies and just companies in general, they get real cliquey, and it's like these people do this, these people don't talk to these people. But to me, everybody should be able to get into a room, bullshit, have a good time, and everybody's different. Everyone's, we have people that are older, people that are a lot of people that are younger, and just to keep that mesh to where it's it's fluid with everybody. That no one feels awkward. Yeah. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest things that we keep at the forefront, so that doesn't change.
Okay.
So that's what we've been kind of really thinking about and discussing, and just really putting people in place to do things. Because Mike did everything. Right. And he fucking killed it. Just looking at it from a numbers perspective, and I don't know him off the top of my head, and I should, but we were number one for a non-franchise office in the MLS, top 10 or 12 in the MLS for volume, and beating out offices with our volume that have 2, 3, 4 times the agents.
Yeah, that's pretty serious.
So
and that's one thing you can't fake numbers.
No,
you know what I mean. Especially in this industry, there's a lot of I don't know what the word is, but there's a lot of fluffing going on. There's 100%. A lot of inflation. Absolutely. There's a lot of is it really this? Yeah. But at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to hit marks like that by himself, that's probably why you guys are on the track that you're on now to grow, is because it all starts from the top.
Absolutely. And I think now the biggest thing we're figuring out is, how do we delegate those things that he was doing, still have the value there? It's going to be a lot of trial and error and see what happens, but, to just make that so we can, not only just go deep like we were able to, but go wide and still keep it deep. Because that's another thing that I think a lot of people do is they go too wide and there's no structure, there's no foundation. Right. And if you have a foundation,
topple over.
Falls through. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And we see it, especially in real estate. You see who comes and who goes. Some people, they're bright for a little bit and they fizzle out. Yeah. So to have that presence for a long period of time,
absolutely,
that's exactly what you guys are doing. And I heard you said multiple offices. Is that a potential that you guys are going to have multiple offices?
So,
is that something you can put out to the public yet, or is it a secret?
So we do have something opening. Okay. In the next couple months, that's confirmed. We actually just got the leases and everything signed today, and was down.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be in the next few weeks.
Okay.
We'll announce a little bit more about that. So definitely one, and then we're working on a few others.
Trying to take over.
we're trying to, by the end of 2022, have at least, obviously our place in Robinson.
Right.
And then at least another 2, if not 3.
Oh, wow.
Rolling.
Nice.
So, and I think that a lot of, what's the best way to say it? All of the orchestrating we're doing now with who's going to be responsible for what, and Joey and I, and I don't know if have you met Tim Downey at all at our office?
Briefly, yeah.
He's
just for a couple minutes.
Yeah, he's another one that's been in this business forever. One of those guys that knows everything about everything.
Yeah.
Such a freaking resource. So like us matched with like Beth Kremen, who's like running our...
Yeah, I love Beth. Yeah, she's good
who's
people.
Running our recruiting, and we're trying to help her figure out the best way to structure that. And our in-house media team and everything, like just having us all be on the same wavelength and same page, which is really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And I never realized it because to me, I mean, I've never had a real job in my life.
Right.
Never. Like I've never like
You
never.
heard it here.
Yeah, like never had a real job. And I don't consider real estate a real job. So people argue with me all the time. Like,
right.
It's not. But to me, to like go from, I mean, shit, like I spent the past 8 months in Florida, just kind of on a vacation.
Oh no, we see it. I think somebody said he's like the. I might be misquoting, but it was like the Mike Lowry of real estate, something along those lines. Fancy cars down in Florida, doing whatever he wants, constantly on a plane. Yeah.
But it's just like now from doing that, which was cool, to now like actually having responsibilities to other people, and then also still trying to sell houses.
Right.
So it's all about time management and juggling. And, that's one thing that Mike's very adamant on is like, get your every hour of your day figured out.
Right.
If you want to fuck off on the weekend, put it in your calendar.
Right.
If you're going to go get shit faced on a Saturday, make sure it's in your calendar and that ends at a certain time, and then pick up for whatever's going to be productive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good key, man. So we kind of started right in, and I knew having you on the show, we would start right in. We wouldn't really need any icebreakers, but I do have icebreakers.
Before we do that, let's pour up.
Let's let the whistle. So we got a couple, mostly whiskeys. I think I did get Herradura, which is tequila, and there's some Snoop Dogg wine here, which are
I've actually had it. It's not bad.
It's pretty decent.
Let's see.
I've never had this either. This was a pretty expensive bottle. It's called Widow Jane. Aged 10 years. Pure limestone mineral water from the legendary Rosedale mines of New York.
Sounds healthy. Let's pour it up.
Let's do some. I don't know if I can. This might
I think
be
there's a little tab on
childproof.
it.
Yeah.
If it's childproof, we're screwed.
Have to go break it and sop it up. Yeah, I've never had this. So just so everybody at home knows, I have a healthy cube in here. Chris is going neat with it. He's going with no ice because he's a man. It smells pretty good.
Why take up space with anything but the alcohol?
Right.
You said it's smoky.
It is a little smoky.
That's my...
Here, I don't want to spill it on you. Also, while we're doing this, I want to shout out two of our sponsors. So the first one is Jules Designs. It's a local shop that does all kinds of graphics. They do like mugs, tumblers, all kinds of stuff. They do a really good job. And I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but so I'm a huge Marvel freak. And this is a Yeti mug that has Thanos on it. All kinds of cool, like glittery stuff. It says you can't fight Thanos alone. So I wanted to shout them out. They gave me one of these mugs. And then my favorite one is this one here. It's an Iron Man on one side. And then it's got the Infinity Gauntlet with all of the different characters, their symbols and everything like that. It's got the quote on there. It says, "When we can't protect the world, we'll damn sure avenge it." And I'm obsessed with Avengers. I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. But yeah, shout out to Jules Designs. You can find them on Instagram, Jules Designs with all Z's. I'll put a link in it. And they're also on Etsy too. So they do all custom work.
They're local?
They are. Yeah, they're in North Huntington area.
Yeah.
Yeah, super, super nice people. And then obviously Rio Cutz, Cutz Barbershop gets me looking pretty. Joey Booker commented on it, so I feel very good about the way I look. They're 320 Agnew Road in Jeanette. Good family-owned barbershop.
Shout out to Deshaun.
Yeah, Day. So yeah, check them out. Those are our two sponsors for the evening. All this alcohol, none of them are sponsors. So
If you'd like to be.
yeah, but if you would like to be, reach out to Vinny, my media man, and we'll get it going. So how we're going to start, this is how it's going to start for people that aren't as comfortable as you, because a lot of people aren't. Is a couple icebreakers. So this is like quick questions right off the bat, whatever you think, whatever first thing comes to mind, just blow it out, just to get the brain juices flowing, and we'll see what happens. So first question is, what was your first car? I know this is going to be a good one. So what was your first car?
First car was a black 2011 Cadillac CTS.
Of course it was. Of course it was. All right. So mine, to put in perspective. Now, the funny thing about Chris and I is we actually both grew up in the same city. A little bit east of here. We grew up in Jeanette, Pennsylvania. Shout out Jeanette. Shout out J-Town. What year did you graduate? So I graduated in 2008.
2012.
So you were 2000. So you're a little bit younger. Now you were in Day-Day's grade?
Day-Day's grade.
Same grade as him.
Yep.
Okay.
So we were never in high school at the same time. I think we were.
Yeah, I would have got out right before you got in. Yeah, because that makes sense.
You graduated with prior.
I did. Yeah, state championship, 17-0. You know, no big deal.
Light work.
No big deal. I had very little to do with that championship. I was on the team.
Got a ring?
I do have. I have a couple rings. I got a Whipple ring. I got a from Hines, and I got the state championship ring, first in Jeanette history. Did you guys went to Hines or no?
So funny story. They went to Hines our senior year.
So who would have been then? Your senior years. That's like Tom Pallone and
No, Thomas is older than me.
Okay, shit.
So my
I'm way
senior
back.
year was me, Day Cox.
Okay. So
Zach Nedley,
Jock, all them.
Jock was younger than us.
Okay. I didn't know that either. I thought you guys were all the same.
No, Jock was at least a year, if not two, younger.
Okay. So who was your quarterback when you were coming up?
So freshman year, it was Thomas.
Okay.
I think Thomas and Day worked in there a little bit.
Right. You had Seth too, right? Seth Miller?
Seth Miller.
Okay.
He played a little bit, but he's 2 years younger than me.
You had Edmonds? Were you that far back?
Yeah. Edmonds was a year younger than me too.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Or no, excuse me. My freshman year, Cam Baragi.
Oh, how could I forget Cam?
Cam was the quarterback.
Yeah, because he was behind Terrell when I played.
So Cam was there, and then I think Thomas worked in a little bit. They worked Day with some Wildcat running around.
Right.
And then sophomore year, Thomas, Shrum, and Day all kind of worked. And then junior year, I think Shrum and Day passed it off. And then senior year, it was Day.
Gotcha. Shout out to Day Cox too.
Him and I are supposed to link up at Burn and grab some cigars.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to all get together.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Well,
Appreciate it.
It didn't happen yet.
Yeah, okay. Tell me after. Tell me how it went. No. All right. So question number 2 is favorite childhood movie.
What your car was, your first
Oh
car.
shit! Yeah. So my favorite car, or my first car was a 1998 Chevy Lumina. It was handed down for me. I think my dad bought it off of my sister, my oldest sister, for like $500. So my sister had, the twins.
Yeah.
So the twins were super little at this time. She had that was her car. So it's a V8 grandma van, grandma car. It wasn't the van, it was a 4-door.
Yeah.
But it had a monster V8 in it. Gray carpet, gray carpet seats. And my nephews, Hakeem and Asani, actually wrote. So I think what it was Son wrote Keem's name in Sharpie on the back of the back seat, but put his brother's name in it so he would get in trouble. So as soon as I got it, I got a JVC head unit from Walmart. I got some the Explode speakers from Walmart that light up and shit, bumping like Lil Jon and Lil Wayne and in this beat ass. But it was a good car. It lasted a while until I was trying to do Night Riders, go backwards and then slam it in the drive. But that was my first car. Favorite childhood movie is the next one. What's your favorite childhood movie?
Favorite childhood movie? A Bronx Tale.
I didn't see that coming.
100%.
A Bronx Tale, really?
I used to sit when I was young. And I'm talking I'm sure when I was young, all the cartoons and shit. But
right.
A movie that I can kind of remember watching was A Bronx Tale.
Wow.
And when I say there were similarities to that to my life at that time, like not to the extreme, but when I was real young, like my family has a restaurant now out in Uniontown, like they do pretty well. But when I was growing up, when I was young, like my mom was just like, she was a bartender and my stepdad was a cook. So like we weren't poor, but like we weren't like anything crazy.
Right.
Whenever my mom, she used to work at Ladbrokes at the racetrack, right down here or whatever.
Yeah.
In Harborville. And that's when it was really bumping down there, and like all the old guys that used to go down there that bet that they're either dead or in jail now.
Yeah.
Whenever my mom couldn't get a babysitter, she would take me to work with her.
No shit.
And like all these old dudes would like, I would sit in the booth with them. They teach me how to bet on horses. Like I'd be 8, 9 years old and leave with like $50.
No shit.
You know what I mean? So like they taught me how to play cards. They taught me how to get like everything like that.
Right.
So like when I say like little similarities like that between that movie and my life was just kind of cool. But I would sit there legit and just watch it on a loop.
Yeah. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
To this day, favorite movie.
Yeah.
100%.
Nice.
I do want to go. They still do the one-man show. Like that's all. So Chaz Palminteri, the guy that wrote that screenplay and played Sonny in a movie.
Okay.
They originally it was like a show on Broadway.
Right.
Where he did the whole fucking movie by himself. He played all the parts and whatever, and he still does it.
No shit. The same guy?
Same guy. So he's actually very like coming back to like not coming back to being famous, but like more mainstream because he's getting into the podcasting.
Okay.
So a lot of people are coming and having him, you know, on his shows, and he's starting to interview a lot of famous people.
I'll have to check that out.
But yeah, he never comes to Pittsburgh. But in March, he's going to in Fort Lauderdale. Either March or April. So I think I might slide down
That'd be
there.
cool. Yeah. So he'll do the whole thing, top to bottom.
He does the whole movie as him being the.
How old is he now? He's got to be.
He's probably in his 70s.
Look that up. I need a Jamie, like Joe Rogan. Jamie, look that up. Vinny, look that up. How do I spell his name?
Cazzpl, and then it should pop up.
Get in it. Bronx. CA.
These people are still blowing me up.
That's good. That's real good. Here he is. So mafia, bro.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So mafia.
Well, because that movie was based on his life. Like the young kid, Calogero, C or whatever, is based
69.
on him.
He'll be 70 years old in May.
So for him to be.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, for him to be getting on stage and doing that, I mean, that has to take a lot out of people.
That's legit. That's really cool. Favorite music artist? That's the next one.
Oh. I don't know.
You're gonna hurt somebody's feelings either way, so just throw it out there.
Because like if you listen to my like playlist, like that I'm at the gym, it can go from fucking Luke Bryant to Nipsey Hussle to Frank Sinatra.
I'm the same way, dude. I'm the same way.
I don't know.
I'll have Disney soundtrack songs in there. But if you had to pick one, if somebody had a gun to your head right now and said, tell me who your favorite, like if it was the one song, regardless of your mood, one song, one artist, and you had to listen to them for the next 5 years.
Oh, man, I don't know.
We stumped him.
I know, because I'm not like diehard for anybody.
No, me either.
Like,
how about this? Quickly, top 5.
Top 5. Always
in no particular order.
No particular order. I was always, since I was a little kid, a big Kiss fan.
Oh, wow.
Paint my face.
Did not see that coming either.
Big Kiss fan.
Man of surprises.
Yes. Big Kiss fan. Big Nipsey Hussle fan for a long time.
Nipsey's that dude. R.I.P.
Luke Combs.
Luke Combs.
I really like Gavin DeGraw.
Okay.
And
finish strong.
Probably either they could be switched out, Dean Martin or Sinatra.
Okay, you got to throw those in there at the end.
Have to.
That's good. That's a good top 5. Kiss definitely threw me off. I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming.
I used to be obsessed. Like
really.
Like I had all the action figures.
No way.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow, good for you. All right, last one. Then we'll kind of get into you a little bit.
Yeah. What
is one thing that you want to do before you die?
One thing I want to do.
Could be anything.
Before I die. I would like to be able to take my whole family to Italy on a jet. Whole thing paid like to the nines, done up, like no expenses spared.
Right.
Like that's like if I could get like 20 people on a jet.
So 20 people, 20 of your family members.
20 family, close friends.
I got the bill. Don't sweat
the
it.
Whole thing.
Let's go.
We're taking a plane. We're not wearing no masks on a fucking plane. We're going.
No shit. That's
good.
Able to
just go for like
that's good.
3-4 weeks, do the whole thing.
Oh, we're talking like a month in Italy.
Oh, yeah, we're not taking a 2-week vacation.
Right.
We're doing it. We're in. Like I'm one of the biggest foodies you'll ever meet. So
I know that for a fact.
So we're eating good the whole time.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be a whole thing.
Have you been? Have you ever been to Italy?
Funny story. I've not.
Really?
So my whole family went when I was probably in middle school because my little sister went.
Okay.
And I was scared to get on a plane.
Really?
I would not get on a plane until first time I got on a plane. We went to Aruba, and I was in high school. I was either like in 8th grade, 9th grade, something like that.
Right.
But they went to Italy for 2 weeks because we still have family over there.
Right.
And they all went, and I stayed home by myself because I wouldn't get on a plane.
No shit.
And I regret it all the time.
And you would have been old. I mean, that's definitely old enough to remember the trip too. I mean, it wasn't like you were super little.
No, and like. But the funny thing is, though, like my whole flying experience was ruined for us because the first time I was on a plane, like I said, we were going to Aruba.
Yeah.
And the airline screwed something up. So my first experience on a plane was in first class.
No shit.
So it's like
can't go backwards.
No, you can't go back.
That's like buying a smaller TV. You can't do that. No shit. Now you're on planes every other weekend. So you obviously achieved that or overcame that fear.
Yeah, and Spirit's not first class, so we came over
right.
Too.
Yeah,
but it's cheap and it's efficient.
It's a little bit bigger, right? They do offer first class, but I think
they do. It's so you can pay it's like between $50 and $100.
Yeah,
and it's a bigger seat,
right?
But it doesn't recline.
No.
You're better off like for the 2.5 hours it takes to get to Florida.
Yeah,
buy that seat that's $12 and just suck it up.
So here's my thing. I think the first time I was on a plane, it would have been around middle school, maybe 6th grade. We went and spent the summer, my mother, my sister, and I, in Houston, Texas. We got family down there. Shout out to Tigali. And I hated it. I was terrified, whatever else. I don't really remember it now, but I remember I was like the worst, scariest thing ever. I've never, and now like meeting my fiance and stuff, we fly all the time. We go to Florida like 2 or 3 times a year. Been to Puerto Rico. Done all kinds of stuff. I've never flown anything but Spirit my whole life.
Really?
Never. So I see, I just had friends on Facebook. I can't remember who it was, but they flew, what's the one that flies out of country?
Emirates.
Yeah.
And that was probably fucking nuts.
Bro, it had TVs and all kinds of shit, and I'm like, damn, all I get is that broken tray in the front. I know nothing but Spirit. So I'm definitely, that's one thing, not something obviously up to this question of what do I want to do before I die, but I do have to try. It's just so fucking convenient flying out of Latrobe.
100%. Even I would fly out of there or fly out of Pittsburgh, and it's just, you can't beat it.
No.
If it's a long flight, if you're flying 7, 8, 10 hours, spend money, first class, whatever, if you want to be comfortable.
Right.
But these little 2-hour plane rides, suck it up.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, I'm usually drunk or asleep anyways.
100%.
Shout out to the Buzz Balls. Have you given the Buzz Balls? Have you ever had those? So Spirit has them. I don't know if any other planes have them, but Spirit has. They did. And I've heard a rumor. Our friends just went to Disney. I heard a rumor that they brought them back. They look like little tennis balls. Mm-hmm. They're called Buzz Balls. They're 15% alcohol. They're a tequila one. There's a whiskey one. It's a little pre-mixed. Mm-hmm. It looks legitimately looks like a tennis ball. You crack open and drink it. And Big Mike Hafer, right? Yeah. My boy Big Mike. Yeah. So we would go down, when we go down to Florida, we would get 3 or 4 of these Buzz Balls and get hammered. And then the only thing they'll give you is peanut M&Ms. Yeah. So doesn't fucking work. 6 o'clock in the morning, we're sloshed, bro, in these fucking planes. squished up.
Mike's a big dude.
I think he's 6'4", 6'5", maybe 6'3", 6'4". He's in that range, but he's probably about 320 to 350 pounds, depending on the time of month. Yeah. He's a freak. He's a freak of nature. Like, so the last time we went down to Florida, we went right after Thanksgiving, and we went to Universal. Yeah. Me, Big Mike, my fiance Robin, and his girlfriend Liz. Couldn't ride shit, bro, because the motherfucker was too big. Fit. Like the Hulk ride. Everyone's like, he's humongous. Like, oh, you got to ride the Hulk ride. And they, like, in front of the rides, they have the, like, the test cart where you can, like, sit in it to see what it feels like whenever else. They had the dude, like, pushing down, and he's like, no, I'm sorry, man. Because he's a freak of nature, bro. He's a monster.
Did he buy a house?
No, not yet.
Because him and I talked to him.
If that motherfucker bought a house and I don't know about it, we're gonna have a lot of problems.
No, because I ran into him somewhere, random as hell, and then we were talking about that he wanted to start looking. Yeah. And it never went anywhere.
Yeah, no. Right now he's back on the road now, so he does nuclear refueling. Yeah. So he's traveling all the time. But he's kind of with his mom's, and then he's with Liz too. Mm-hmm. So. I think that's in the works as far as getting him somewhere settled, but with his job and everything, it just doesn't make sense right now.
No, that's like I was talking. You know Jake Palmer?
I know of him.
So he does the same thing, and it's like he's like you make all this money, but like it's not worth spending.
Yeah, you don't have a life.
You can't enjoy it. Mm-mm. You know, he had a really really nice house. He just bought another one, but had a really nice house out. I think it was New Stanton, something. Yeah, with like. Some land, a big pool, and he was like, I had to get rid of it because I couldn't enjoy it, couldn't maintain it, couldn't keep up with it.
That's the give and take, man. I mean, Mike's on the road. He's on the road for a few months. He'll do an outage, then he'll be home for a couple weeks, and then hit the road again. Like he's usually off the majority of the summer. Yeah. If I have that right, it's either the majority of the summer or the majority of the winter. One or the other, and then he's back. But
they work like a teacher schedule.
Yeah. It's wild, and
they can bank cash because not only do they get paid. But they get a tax-free per diem.
Yeah, that per diem is money.
And sometimes they give them like $150 a day. Right. And like you're not spending all that, and especially when you're by yourself in a hotel room.
Right, if you don't have, and they'll get deals too. They'll get these efficiencies, like these apartments.
So you're spending $40-$50 a day, a couple bucks for food. Like you're banking an extra $500-$600 a week cash.
That's why there's a fucking brand new ZX14 in my garage because it's his. He got it. He's probably rode it. I mean, he does. When he has the chance to ride it, he rides a lot. But reality of it is he's working all the time. So that motherfucker doesn't get miles. It's already paid off. Like, he's got it made. That's why my kids love him because they're always trying to hustle his ass for some money or Uncle Mike will buy us dinner or take us here. So, that's my best friend, man, Big Mike. Shout out Big Mike. So with you, growing up in Jeanette, the way that you grew up with your family and everything like that, How did you transition into real estate, or how did you find yourself into being an agent?
So I graduated in 2012. Mm-hmm. Took like a year off from college. Whenever I was 17, I started playing poker online, like for money. Yeah. And started making like a decent amount of money, especially for someone that was, that young. Mm-hmm. So like, that's kind of what I was doing to support myself. Like everyone was like, "Oh, he's spoiled. He has a Cadillac." Like I bought that shit. Like you know what I mean? Right. Like that was something that was always very prevalent. Like in my house, like was like, "Oh, you want a cell phone? Like you're gonna when you can pay for it. Right. When you can pay for it, you can get it. But if you're bad, I'm still gonna take that shit even though you
right. Even though it's yours. Correct. Good. Good for your parents for sure.
So graduated, was making some money. Playing cards, and like we're always working with my family at the restaurant. Like again, like
shout that out. What's your family's restaurant?
Yes, so it's in Uniontown. It's called Caparella's. Okay. It's if anybody's familiar with Uniontown, it's what is the address? 90 Pittsburgh Street. When you roll into town, it's in the old train station. A lot of people that are familiar with that.
I've heard of
But yeah, super good Italian place. We have. We have a wood-fired brick oven for pizza and all that stuff. Nice. Good bar, good menu, and then an ability to do like banquets and stuff on the other side of the building. So
now, who is that owns that? Is that your grandparents or?
Technically, the owners on pay. Well, they all own it now, but like originally, so like I said, my mom was always like bartending, running like the front of the house at different places, and my stepdad was a cook
Right.
So like growing up, they ran like Mon Valley Country Club. They ran the Elks Club in Charleroi. They ran Cedarbrook Country Club. Like they would do catering and all kind of shit. And they had their own little catering bit on the side where they would do stuff for whoever. So my grandma, which would be my stepdad's mom.
Okay.
She was always like, what did she do? She was like intermediate unit speech pathology, that kind of thing. So she retired. My grandfather retired, her husband, who was a teacher as well.
Okay.
And they knew obviously that John, my stepdad, was very into cooking, very good at what he does. And they went to them and were like, hey, we want to open a restaurant. And I guess it was always like a dream of her dad because they were straight off the boat.
Okay. First gens.
Yeah. So I had never met. He passed away before they got married, but that they wanted to have a restaurant. Mm-hmm. So my grandparents dumped a shitload of money, everything at this place. And the first place that they opened was in Perryopolis. I don't know if you know where the auto auction is on 51.
Not off the top of my head, no.
So if you go 51 south, all the way,
okay,
and you'll go past like. I'm trying to think. Bill's Golfland, and there's a Get Go, and it's just you keep going like Uniontown. So once you get past all that, you get through Rostraver, you get into Perryopolis, and there's like a light on 51 where it's right past the auto auction where they do like flea markets and shit.
Okay.
And then there was a little building right on a corner that maybe sat 35, 40 people plus maybe 10 at the bar. So the first place we opened was there. We obviously outgrew that place in like a year and a half.
Nice.
And then found that space in Uniontown, which was a hell of a lot bigger and whatever. But since then, they've just been kind of killing it.
Yeah. So you can go in and like just walk in and eat, or is it a reservations only joint?
So during the week, you're probably safe. So they're closed Mondays. But during the week, you can go in and just kind of sit down. Okay. Weekends, it's always preferred to have a reservation. Okay. Because they get very, very busy. And
that's great, man. That's awesome.
It's amazing. The funny thing is, like, people will come in there and because reservations aren't required, but they'll come in there and bitch that like they got to wait 30 minutes for a table, but they'll go sit outside of an Olive Garden for 4 hours.
Yeah.
With those little buzzers. You know what I mean?
Right. For sure.
So especially on the weekends, it's it's popping over there.
Nice.
So it's
nice. Yeah, I got to make a trip.
Yeah.
I got to take you so I can get because I know we went to, what was the place we went to?
DN in the Strip.
Yeah. And I couldn't even read the damn menu. So
see, our shit's in English.
Okay.
You'll be good. Yeah, we're not trying to be that fancy.
Right.
And that place was good. It was good. I mean, it didn't blow my socks off.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to Italian food, like it takes a lot for me to be like crazy impressed, but it was good. I want to go back because I talked to a couple people after we went and said that I wasn't totally floored.
Yeah.
But they said if you get some of the other stuff, because I got the gnocchi because it's like what they post on our Instagram.
Clutch, right.
But they said that there's a lot of other stuff that's good.
So for fighting words' sake, how do you stack up your family's place with the Dianello's that we went to? Shits on them. Just say it. You can say it. I don't know anybody from that restaurant.
Yeah, damn right it does. Damn right it does. But it's different. So ours is more like, I'm trying to think what you could compare it to. You've been to Rizzo's?
I have.
So like, if you go like one or two steps above Rizzo's, not saying anything bad about Rizzo's, because
right, yeah,
incredible, but like prices are a little bit higher. We do a little bit. We'll run some like fancier specials. Like we'll always have like lobster tails and all kind of pasta specials and shit. But like more just like that traditional, hearty,
more
Italian
grandma's
food.
kitchen
100%,
style. Okay,
100%. Like
I can dig that.
A lot of chicken parms, veal parms, like fettuccine alfredos, like just original stuff. And then we'll have like specials that are like crazy shit.
Yeah,
but like the core of it all is just like really, really good pizza, pasta, all your chicken and fish dishes and stuff. So it's a good spot.
Definitely have to check it out. But sure. I cut you off. So the transition. So you're playing cards.
Okay. Yeah. So we did that. I took like a year off from going to college. I went to college. Went to Pitt Greensburg for like 2 months. And like the one thing that I can say is like I think a lot of people's parents pressure them into doing shit.
For sure.
And my mom didn't care at all.
Right.
She was like, you do whatever you want, but you're going to get the hell out of the house.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you're going to figure something
I ain't
out.
feeding your ass no more.
Yeah.
Right.
So I went there for a couple months, and I remember like the day that I left because I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, I'm going to be a business major like everybody else.
Right.
So I was sitting in the back of a class, and the class was study of minority women's literature. And like, no disrespect to anybody, I know it's a sensitive.
Oh shit!
It's a sensitive time.
What's
in the
he
world,
gonna say?
But I don't give a shit about that.
Right.
And I remember that this teacher, like, it was like a 48-minute class, a 50-minute class, whatever. And I remember I was sitting in the back of the class playing cards on my computer, and I made like just over $4,000 in like that hour class.
No shit.
And I was like, I just made more in an hour than this poor bastard made
Right.
all month.
Right.
And I was like, and I just never went back.
That was it.
So I was like, I told my mom, I was like, I'm done. She was like, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. So I moved to Florida.
Okay.
Just kind of messed around down there. For
What part?
I was in Palm Beach Gardens.
Okay.
Palm Beach Gardens.
Just living off of poker games at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So went down there, was down there for a while, got mixed up with a chick that I moved in with way, way too fast, and that turned into a shit show. So
Haven't we all?
yeah, so like I just kind of ghosted her, came back to Pittsburgh.
Like left the state, ghosted her.
Yeah, but like I was like, so I was like a real piece of shit back then when it came to this stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna move you back to Pittsburgh. Just let me figure it out. And
Right.
when I got back here, like I was like, oh, my phone's broke. I don't know.
Hopefully she's not watching this right
listen,
now.
listen. That was a whole story. We're not gonna get into that. But
We'll shut the cameras off.
yeah. But I came back to Pittsburgh and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I started just working back at my family's place. I was still playing cards.
Yeah.
And at the time, you know Janice Smarto.
Yes.
Janice was obviously the manager at the Berkshire office.
At Berkshire, yes.
And I, like, obviously Brooke, I went to prom with Brooke, like,
Okay.
grew up together. We graduated together.
The Williams gang.
Yes. So I was like, shit, I'll get my real estate license.
Yeah.
My uncle at the time was dating somebody up in Cranberry who was a big producer. So like, talk to her, talk to Janice. So I went and got my license. Started there. Was there for like, I want to say probably a year and a half.
Okay. At Berkshire.
At Berkshire in Greensburg. Then I jumped ship and I went to Realty One, Gold Standard in I guess they're based out of Cannonsburg.
Right.
With Mike Hanlon and Dion
Mike,
Malish.
yeah.
Both of those, I love both of them to death.
Yeah.
Especially Dion. Like, she still texts me on my birthday for holidays.
Oh,
like,
nice.
yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
They're both awesome. And ended up at Cowden because over quarantine, whenever we weren't allowed to work,
Right.
I was still at Realty One, and somehow I ended up just hanging out for those 3-4 weeks with Christian Wilhelm,
yeah.
and that crew. So we were just literally like, we would go to his house at like 11 a.m. on a Tuesday and just drink like a case of White Claws.
Yeah.
And like, we had like the barber come and cut our hair in his basement.
Yeah.
Shut
It
down.
was such a crazy time,
Bro,
man.
it was weird.
It was
really
it was
weird.
so weird.
But then, like, we had gone and hung out at the office, because you've been in our office.
Yeah.
The basement, like, it's like a fucking arcade.
Oh, yeah, it's legit,
Yeah.
for sure.
And we were there one night, or I guess one morning, till like fucking 3 a.m.
No shit.
And we're just bullshit. And Mike happened to be there. And, you know, he was just, I forget how we got on the topic. We were just talking about like life and business and whatever.
Yeah.
And he just went off on, you know, one of his tangents about success and the whole thing. And I was like, you know, I think I want to work here.
Yeah.
So we chatted and whatever. And, you know, I made the decision to switch over. And then, you know, here we are.
So very, very organic situation.
Organic,
yeah.
Very organic. And honestly, and then to touch on kind of what we said about, you know, I've been in Florida for the last 8 months. I got licensed in Florida.
Right.
And went down there, was staying in an Airbnb for, you know, the entirety that I was there, and had all intentions on staying down there full time. Like, I would still come back and forth, and I thought I was going to run a business here and there. That shit don't work.
Right.
But
yeah, it's a lot.
And I actually like got an apartment gave everybody all my stuff. Like I was set to move in like 2 months or a month and a half, something. And the leasing manager at this apartment complex, for whatever reason, she went on vacation or did something and never sent me the lease to sign. So like everything was approved, like cool. I paid all my shit deposits and everything.
Yeah.
But she never sent me the lease to sign. She was like, "Oh, we'll get it taken care of." So in the interim between that, I came back to Pittsburgh for something. It might have been my birthday because it was in October. And me and Mike sat down and we were talking, and he actually picked me up from the airport. And, we were talking about, like, I mean, if I would have interest in, like, actually being a part of the company here more so than just being an agent.
For sure.
And, it just felt like the right thing to do. So I went back down to Florida, got all my shit figured out, canceled that apartment down there.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So do you have intentions on doing anything in Florida?
So I would love.
Like, are you going to, like, what if Mike gets you to open an office down there?
So that is a conversation that we've had.
Oh, really?
Something that's on the horizon. Obviously, it's set out. We want to get things as
right. Yeah, you got your wave here to work on.
I would love to manage and grow things down there. I have no intention on selling houses there.
Right.
Because it's like, I mean, down there especially, like real estate's competitive everywhere. Mm-hmm. But down there, like, for me to think that I was going to grow a business being part-time between here and there. Yeah. For how I do business, very organic, very like, shaking hands, kissing baby, whatever. Right. Like, it doesn't work like that. Right. You got to be somewhere. You got to be seen. Like,
yeah. It's a Wild West down there.
And I'm not one of these people that like it. God bless the people that can like build businesses by like buying leads and the internet shit. Right. Everyone does stuff their own way. For sure. That's not me.
That's the beauty of real estate in general, is that there is so many different avenues to make money.
100%.
That if this doesn't work for you, you can still be very successful doing it your absolute own fucking way.
Like you can do it old school as fuck and cold call, which is like I still get business doing that all the time. Yeah. Honestly, just meeting people at the bar, buying drinks, bullshitting. Like it's just.
It's not work.
It's not.
To you, it's not work.
At all. Right. Like literally, like it's so funny to me when I hear people like in my office and like people that are in the same industry and space bitch about like their days and whatever. And it's just like, especially when you get to a certain level of like it's a grind always.
For sure.
But like when you start making some money to the point where like you don't have to worry about, like the average stuff that a lot of other people have to worry about. Right. And you hear them bitching about like, oh, I have to go show houses on a Saturday, or I have to go to this meeting, I have to do that. To me, it's like, you got to put it in perspective. Like there's probably a kid that's 8 years old that lives a mile and a half away from you that doesn't know if they're going to fucking eat. Right. You're bitching because you're going to go show a house on a Saturday and make 10 G's on a commission check. Right. So to me, I have no time for that.
The discipline and the perspective, I think.
Yeah, it's just like, to me, it's like, shut the fuck up. You chose this. Like, this is what we're here for. Right.
And it's so, like you said, it's so, there are days where you don't stop.
100%.
But in reality, it's not a 9 to 5 in the same aspect. Like, I'm not stuck in this office doing like, we have a lot of free time. We have a lot of time to, it's just how you manage it. Like, and it goes back to what Mike was saying. Like, even if you want time to fuck off, put it on the calendar. Yeah. Make that time and structure yourself, because it is very easy with no accountability to fall completely the fuck 100%. Off. And there's people like you, there's people like me that I didn't grow up in this industry. You know what I mean? I kind of fell on this. I was a fucking pipeliner for 11 years. But I found, and my talk with Jason, the owner of my company at Lending Heights, is similar to the one that you had, where it was like, you meet somebody that just, it lines your stars. It's like, okay, I can do that. And I believed him enough to leave everything that I know over a decade of what I've done and chased it. And I'll outwork anybody. And that's not arrogance. That's like, everybody knows if you call me whatever time it is, I'll answer. Because half hour before that I was probably watching a Marvel movie on Disney Plus, or fucking singing We Don't Talk About Bruno with my daughter. You know what I mean? Like there is, you do have to hustle when it's time to hustle, but at the same time, if you manage your time, you can make a very comfortable life from doing not half as much as other people.
And I think it's about one thing that Mike's always very adamant about whenever he talks to agents, and so many people are so adamant on like how many houses you want to sell or how much money you want to make. And that's important. But it's like, what do you want your lifestyle to be?
Right.
Like there's some people that like are cool with like, okay, I'm going to sell 5 houses a year. I just want to make an extra maybe 20, 30 G's a year that I can put towards my kids' college or vacations or whatever. So to us, that's what at Cowden, what we try to give to people and what we try to have people base their goals and activities on is like, what do you want your lifestyle to be?
Right.
Not everybody wants to be this person that works 1,000 hours a week and sells 150 houses. Not everybody wants to be that.
Right. And you don't have to be.
No. And that's the thing. And that's why it's like, if you look at things from the right perspective, you can formulate your lifestyle to whatever it is.
Right. Right.
You know, and if it's not making a bunch of, like, if you care about a charity and you want to make enough money to help contribute to that, and you don't give a shit about nice cars and clothes and vacations and dinners and whatever, like, that's the beauty of this.
Right.
Because it's so.
But you have to be disciplined enough to still focus on you and stay on your track. And I think the biggest thing is like the quote, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you want to do that, then you need to do that and not let anybody fake. Like some things that I've noticed since I've been in the industry, and I've always said this, it's not, it's literally my key phrase is that real estate is like Facebook in real life.
100%.
Like when you look at, the events that you go to, the people that you talk to, whatever else, that most of those people aren't that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted you on the show. Especially as my first guest, is that I know you keep it real. Like you don't. There's no bullshit. If you feel this way, you feel this way, and that's the beauty of it. And there's some other people that might disagree and feel a different way,
and that's fine.
And that's fine too. Yeah. But you can't say that one person's vision is better than the other person's vision. And I think in real estate, people get swept up in that when they see these events and they see how these people are and how people gawk over this or like the brag posts, like, I did this much and I did this much. And it's like, you also have 7 fucking people underneath of you that you're not even talking about.
That's a whole, like, and that's the thing.
Lending is the same way.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? It's the same demographic with that.
Some people really just want the clout of being the top of the food chain, the perception of being top of the food chain.
Very good.
And that's cool. Like, do what you want. Like, as long as you're not affecting me and bothering me, I don't give a shit what you do.
Do your thing.
Yeah, like
do you, boo.
Yeah. And it's like I see all these younger people getting into the industry, and they feel like they have to fit into the box of like what everybody else is doing.
Right.
And like they're like, oh, I'm going to go to this real estate networking event, and I'm going to do this, and a lender's calling me, and they want to take me to lunch and invite me to a happy hour, and I'm just like, and if you enjoy that, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've never I'm not taking time out on a fucking Tuesday evening to go sit in a room with a bunch of real estate agents or people in the industry. Like I have my people that I work with.
Right.
Now, if I get along with you, we can hang out. We can go get drinks.
Right. For sure.
Whatever.
For sure.
But like to be in a room of 50 real estate agents, 20 title agents, 15 lenders, like for what? I'm not going to pick up any business there.
Right. That's it's a brag session.
Yeah.
It's a brag session for sure.
It's like,
now, some of it isn't. Some of it, like there's, and I think that we need to let the listeners know too, especially the newer agents.
Yeah.
Which and I'm going to close with a question to you about that. But there are things where a newer agent, they really need to have discernment in the industry.
Yeah.
Because you can be led astray very easily by somebody who you think is trying to help you, but in reality is threatened by you. Because there's new agents that are hungry as fuck,
And they're
bro.
killing it.
And they're ready to take over, and they're ready to push these old realtors out the way and out hustle, out work. But if they get tied up in the wrong atmosphere, or if they get misled by information, by going to some of these events where that person doesn't give a shit about you personally, they just want to make sure they want to know where you're at so that you're not a threat.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because it's very, very cutthroat. It's a very cutthroat industry.
And I've had this conversation because I have people all the time to me that'll be like, hey, I'm thinking about my license or I just started. Can we sit down and have a conversation?
Right.
And I love doing that.
Right.
And I give them the cut and dry,
The real deal.
just like what you said. And a lot of times they don't want to listen to that because it's not what feels good.
It's not what they heard.
You know?
It's not what's on, was it
HGTV,
Selling
Selling
Sunset and
yeah.
all that other bullshit,
Yeah,
bro.
it's one of those things where they have to burn themselves. And
Yeah.
I know me, I had to burn myself.
100%.
Now, I was never like, I was personally never somebody that was like super involved in like the industry networking and
For
stuff.
sure.
And again, if you enjoy that,
Right.
and you really like doing that, and you're friends with 50 agents, go do it.
Yeah.
You know,
if it works,
if
it
that's your
works
thing.
for sure.
But to me, I know I personally learned by getting burned. I think my first year as an agent, from just fucking up, from not like listening to like our new agent trainers and all kind of stuff, I think I came out of pocket like close to $10,000 for like hand monies that like I fucked up. And then I feel like, if I screwed something up, I'm going to like reimburse you. I'm going to pay you.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
That's just how,
Yeah.
So that I learned very quickly. That's how I learned the contract very quickly, because it hurts your pockets. If
100%. 100%.
So to me, when you have these conversations with these younger people and you tell them, this is how it is.
Yeah.
And some of them trust you and believe you, and some of them go off and do their own
They
thing.
want to find, the hard knock road.
And I can't tell you how many people that I've had those conversations with, told them what I told them. They decided to go do their own thing. And then 6 months later, I get another phone call, and they're like, "Hey, can we sit down?" They're like, "Oh, you were right." I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Like I have no intention here.
Right.
Like I'll sit down with you if you're new or you're whatever, and give you everything that I have, everything that we offer. And if you don't want to come work with us, I don't care.
Right.
I would love to still have a relationship with you. So if you're working at Remax or Coldwell Banker,
Right.
or
You end up
whatever,
on the other side of the deal
and
somewhere.
we get along.
Right.
I think so many people, they get so caught up in the competition aspect, and it's just like, I really genuinely I don't want to say I don't believe in competition, but like for me, like my clients are my clients. You couldn't take them off me if you tried.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like me personally,
Ooh.
honestly,
Ooh.
like I don't like how I run my business, and this isn't for everybody.
Right.
But like I've never once had a client sign a buyer agency agreement.
Right.
Like all my listing contracts, you're allowed to terminate a day after it's listed if you're not happy. So if anybody wants to list the house,
Check them out.
one day you can get rid of it. but like to me, it's like I build a rapport with my clients, and I'm willing to have that man-to-man conversation if there's an issue. And if we can't resolve it, like I don't want you feeling like you have to work with me because we're under contract.
Right.
And that's one thing that I love about Cowden and what Mike lets us do is like, to a certain point, like we use our own discretion on how to run things.
Right.
So to me, he's the same way as to like, I'm not going to sit here and get in a pissing match with someone for 3 months locked into a contract because they don't want to work with you. And then it's just it's drama, and they can write reviews on Yelp or whatever. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I don't know. The industry's very strange,
It is.
but I love it. You know, I equate this industry like working with clients. It's like going to the zoo every day. You don't know what you're going to see, what the animals are going to be doing.
Right.
Like
That's a very good analogy. It is.
It's just it's very different, but it's why I love it.
Yeah.
I operate really well in chaos.
Yeah. And I think you have to be able to do that. And the same on the lending side, where the high, like Jason always says, the highs are highs and the lows are lows. Where I get one file that comes in, and I got some bullshit about this underwriter says this, and I'm like, oh fuck, I got to deal with this. And then my processor comes in, she's like, hey, this other file, the underwriter said this, and it'll all fucking to the point where I'm at home, I'm drinking, and I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this job?
Yep.
And then, 2 days later, you fight.
Yeah.
You put in the work when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
I'm on my computer calling different banks, calling these other people, 10, 11 o'clock at night, trying to figure it out. And then 3 days later, I got 3 closings lined up.
Yep.
And then the paychecks start coming in. And it's like, it's high-risk gambling. It's very similar to the poker games that you were playing, because you can lose your whole ass in this game.
100%.
Or you can set your whole squad up.
Yeah.
So, and I think it takes a very special person to be able to run into it, get burned, still go into the fire after they've already been burned, and come out successful. You know what I mean? The scars show. And that's a big thing too. When you see these new agents, nobody, especially, and this was my last question as we close up, was the advice that you would give to a new agent, and we pretty much touched on that. But like, I wanted you to touch on like briefly your first year. So like you got burnt, you did a lot of things. You said almost 10 G's in debt, or loss, I should say. What was it? Why wasn't it okay for you just to back out at that point, at the end of that year, or whenever you came to that point and say, you know what, this isn't for me? Like, what was it that kept you moving? Because I know there's a lot of agents, especially in the market that we just had with COVID, with everything was crazy upside down, interest rates at an all-time low.
Didn't make any sense.
And now, as these newer agents are starting to get more comfortable, the rates are starting to go up. The inventory is starting to get a little bit crazy again. How would you tell an agent to keep fighting the good fight? As far as your experiences, what is it that kept you, even though you were getting your ass kicked on the ground, why did you keep fighting? And then the result afterwards.
So to me, I think you have to get like crystal clear on what it is you want your business to look like.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that it's not going to look like that from the jump. And it's going to get discouraging. It's going to have to, it's going to get hard. You're going to want to quit. You're going to have to do whatever. To me personally, like, I didn't know what the hell else I was going to do.
Right.
Like, I was just
there was no backup plan.
I was like, I've never had a job and I'm never going to get one.
Right.
So it's like either I'm going to figure this out or I'm going to end up doing some like shady shit that's like not going to be good for anybody.
Right.
So to me, like, just figure out what you want your business to look like, and then find a company that's willing to work around that.
That makes sense.
If you're somebody that's super social media based and whatever, like, you're not going to go to a company that's like, I want you to make cold calls for 7 hours a day.
Right.
So to go to a company that is willing to sit down with you on a weekly or bi-weekly basis and, really get to know you, like, outside of like, okay, I want to make this much money, sell this many houses, like, what do you like to do with your kids? Like, what are your hobbies? Like, do you like, we just had Trishanda.
Yeah.
She, she sat down with Joey for some one-on-ones, and we're trying to do the same thing. Like, and she's starting a whole video series around like real estate, but tying it into like sneakers because she's a big sneaker.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And yeah. Like,
so I got to deal with Trishanda actually. Shout out to Trishanda. She's good people.
Yeah. I mean, and just like to be able to just take little things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I just had a meeting with an agent, Amanda, on Darian's team.
Okay.
And like, we're sitting there like, what do you like to do? She's like, oh, I like to like knit and like do like crafty shit. Like, what? Like, you need to incorporate that into your business.
Right.
Because there's a lot more people that give a shit about listening and seeing you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Than they care about like your open house post.
See, that's an avenue I think that you're touching on that
100%.
I haven't heard very many companies.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing, and you got to make yourself fit into this demographic or this style of business, where your company is literally personalizing a real estate career around the person versus the company.
Absolutely.
That's cutting edge shit, man.
And it shouldn't be because it's so basic.
Right.
Like,
but you think about it, everybody that you're going to sell or buy a house to has a personality,
100%.
has something they like to. So if they don't fit this niche, or if I'm real into knitting and I see this girl talking about real estate and knitting or whatever that, I mean, I would flock to her in a heartbeat. Because that personal, you can't be more personal than that.
100%.
Even though it's not a real estate based relationship at that point, it's a personal based relationship. That's huge, man. That's a big game changer for a lot of people.
It is, and it's like, and if once people give us the opportunity to actually sit down and like lay it all out there, like, you can make as big of a business as you want out of however you want it to look.
Right.
For me, I can't tell you how many deals I've done especially from like Instagram and social media, from conversations that started from me posting a food picture.
Yeah.
And we just bullshit about whatever.
Right.
But then you sprinkle in your real estate stuff so they know you're an agent.
The hustle.
Yeah. So it's just, I think for new agents, biggest thing, figure out what it is that you want, who it is that you want to be, what you want your business to look like. And shop as many companies as you need to figure out who's willing to build that for you.
Right.
And it might not be us.
Right.
Would love for it to be. But like, if you go to
Realty One or whatever, and they fit your script and they're happy, go there.
So be it.
You know, go there, be happy, kill it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much business out there.
So much.
That people that like get like super hurt and like count other people's pockets and they're worried about this, that, and the third. Like, and it's funny because I have no idea what anybody else is doing.
Right.
When you get these people that sit down and talk and they know like this person did
this is what they did. Right.
I have no idea.
Everybody looks on MMI.
Yeah. And that, no disrespect. Like,
no.
I want everyone to kill it. There's so much money to be made.
Everyone can win.
Yeah.
That was a hard thing for me when I first jumped into the industry.
When you're super competitive. It's
right.
Hard.
And I'm like, no, I'm not losing. Why is this motherfucker getting deals? Like, he's garbage, you know? And you want to start hurting people's feelings because that's how I grew up. We grew up different. So it was like, fuck him. Don't use him, blah, blah, blah. And then I sat back and it was like, his shit don't matter.
Yeah.
I can still win just as good. And as I mature in the industry, I realize that it's like, hey, bro, if you're winning, win.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy for you on that level. And full transparency, it wasn't like that in the beginning. I wanted everybody's shit. I wanted to take the fuck over, and I still feel that way, but in a more realistic fashion, where it's like, you know, when you hit a certain level, it's like I can't even worry about his shit because I got so much shit on my plate. Then you know, it's like, listen, we're all at the buffet, bro. It's all how you want to make your plate.
Yep.
But like I said, we want to close up here. I thank you very much, Chris, for coming on.
I appreciate the invitation.
As far as anybody that wants to, you know, let's say they saw this or they've been watching you for a while, what is the best way to get in contact with you as far as, you know, if they want to list their house, if they have questions about, you know, maybe the home buying process, you know, where can they reach out to you, whether it's Instagram, you know, Facebook?
I mean, my Instagram's my first and last name at Chris Passaro, ChrisPassaro. And then probably just my cell, 724-989-1536.
Yeah.
Shoot me a call, text, DM on Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
People that want to buy, sell, any agents that are interested in coming and checking out, you know, what we have to offer at Cowden.
The creek's rising, right?
100%.
That's crazy. I'm super happy for you guys, man.
I mean, it's just the beginning.
Right.
And we're excited to kind of have you on board, and, you know, it's going to be good.
Awesome. And we got a shirt for you.
Oh.
This is a large. It should fit your arms. If not, we can get you a small. I know how you like looking good.
I love it.
So do some push-ups. You'll fit into it. But like I said, everybody, thank you guys for watching. You know, we got a couple episodes coming up next week. Make sure you keep an eye out for that. Chris Passaro, thanks again. Cowden Creek Realty for coming on. Of course, none of this would be possible without the support and love from Jason and Kristen at Lending Heights Mortgage. Anybody that needs pre-approved, anybody that has any mortgage questions, call your boy. I'll talk to you guys later. You have a great evening. God bless.